Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I just want to talk about some of the things I've mentioned one time on one of my channels. I have more than one. And I don't even know if I made it public or if it was one of those videos that got corrupted. I had a whole bunch that got corrupted back in, when was it? Something like July, August, and part of September or so. Even recently, I think. But any one of them. Anyway. The video, basically I mentioned this about how, if you look back at history, how things move and change and all that, to where who's, what kind of ideology maybe of people will be leading at that time. And I'm not talking about the elections. No, I'm talking about more of, like I said, it's really not about political either. It doesn't have to be. But what type of mindset or what type of mentality or a combination of those and different things, and types of beliefs. Okay, such as like, what I see is coming up next, really, it's been coming up alongside of the one that's more current one, and which, don't get me started, it's basically the opposite, extreme maybe, perhaps opposite of what's current, more recent years. And what I think is coming up is that of the belief that scientists. Science will prevail. Science will be leaders. What is it? I'm sorry, I'm kind of distracted by people behind me. Yeah, just put it that way for short. But, science is, more people going to start respecting the scientists. And I'm not saying this out of wishful thinking. It's just, maybe a little bit, who knows, all that I've seen lately. But really, I've felt this, all along. You heard, go back to movies from when I was a child and the mentality of people from when I was young and even before me. This of seeing them as nerds or Poindexters or, whatever. They could come up with some name that they thought was cute. And it was the mean, kind of like the mean girls, the mean boys, the people who are adults who haven't really left high school in that kind of stage. And these have been coming up beside one another. Okay, and I really do think that what's going to happen is that now the scientists, the more scientifically minded, the good people, the good, decent people, the people who actually respect. Ooh, there's a word that hasn't been heard in probably many, many years or used by certain people. Respect. People will respect one another for what is their area of specialization, and it doesn't have to be scientific. People will have respect because the people who are doing the jobs of these, whatever it is, I'm not talking to scientists, like I said, whatever kind of job, they're doing it, and they're not slackers. They're not just, you're a Karen if you say that I have to do my job. No, these are people who actually work. Now, that whole thing about Karen, I've done videos about that. It has switched around from what it was to beginning with. At the start was something more about a white woman against an African-American man, and it was about prejudice and stuff, racism and stuff like that. But of course, certain types of people who can't think for themselves will take something like that and flip it, spin it and flip it and all that kind of stuff, and it's going to be more about the people who are against them, and it's usually white. I mean, really is white people, certain white people, not all white people, not all white people. Can't say that enough. But certain ones, and now it's gotten to be where it's basically the slackers. The people who slack off on their job, they don't want to really do it. They don't want to do anything in life. They didn't want to study when they were kids. They didn't, want to go to college, or not all of them. Not everybody who didn't want to go to college. None of this is everybody. But the ones who just didn't want to do what it took, to be what they are, they're they're slackers. Some of them can't do the job, so they would be slackers. I mean, they would be, because they can't do the job, and they usually steal ideas from somebody else, and so on and so forth. Now, yeah, that kind. I'm serious. I'm very distracted right now. But what has been coming up beside them are the scientists, and the scientists are going. The scientific mind, and all the ones I just described, not the slackers, the ones they call Karens and stuff, and not okay. The good, decent people, the people who believe in scientists, the people who are going to respect one another for what they do because they're going to actually know what they're doing. These type of people, these are going to prevail. These are going to become the next move. And I have a feeling this will last for a really long time. Enough was enough. And what I'm saying, I'm distracted. I can't unbelieve it. Okay, yeah, I was supposed to go with Adam to the little store, because I have been at home too much lately. We call that lately as 8 months. For a good chunk of it, yeah. Because of the pandemic and stuff. But I was supposed to go with him, but our puppy, who's more of a puppy dog, in between puppy and dog now, the one I nicknamed Mayhem, he has to go with Daddy. And he was jumping over the seat, and I said, no, put him in the back seat. And no, he was going to be jumping over. And so then we had a really weird thing in the back seat. I couldn't figure it out. Adam couldn't figure it out. But somehow the safety belt, we don't know what in the world, how it got connected to one and how it got so short. I mean, it got really short. we were both pretty freaked out about it. How in the world did that happen? Yeah, this is October, so maybe it's just one of those things. I don't believe in things that way, but hey, it was something to say. But also, what's distracted is seeing, I guess, as a neighbor talking to another neighbor or somebody who works for him or whatever. But this is a neighbor who usually watches me. And it's actually a couple that they tend to watch me. And that's going back since we bought the house new. I mean, nobody had ever lived in it before new. And they were, I guess, the first person on the block, perhaps, first family. And they've just been nosy as can be ever since. Don't like that. And that's distracting me because I can see them. Movement out of my rearview mirror kind of thing. You keep seeing something going on. Yeah, but anyway. I always add a little bit something like a vlog. Just sometimes real life happens in the middle of a video. But that is how I see it. I really do. Because, and I'm a scientist, I'm a social and behavioral scientist. I believe in science. I do. I believe that we need to pay attention to the people who've actually done the work to become what they are. Like I said earlier, it doesn't matter what field, it doesn't matter whether it's professional or scientific or whatever. The people who have actually done the work to deserve their job, who deserve to be thought of as people who actually are the professional in that position. And you can take the word professional out, but the person who is whatever, skilled, unskilled. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure you do. Okay, you could be a cashier at a store, and hey, you had to take some classes or so. I remember they used to do that. When I was young, I remember that. They give classes to teach them how to do things like, I don't know if anybody knows this anymore, how to count money, count back change, how to, and how to use a calculator. Wow. How to add up tickets and such. But anyway, how to treat people, how to treat your customer, not to allow the customer to do. You see, how to actually be good customer service rep on your job. These things were taught. Okay, back then, as far as I know, in the area where I was, what I observed, what I heard of, and what all that, These were taught. They didn't just, I actually, I don't know how many years ago it would have been, probably around 10. I was going to take a little, I had a full-time job, but I wanted to take a little one to get me out of the house. Like, I was still living by myself, so however many years that was. And to give myself, you know, to walk around, get a little extra money or something. Not really, it wasn't about money. It was just get myself to do something different. Anyway, I took a little job where I would be a cashier working in this big store. Actually, it was a toy store. Anyway. And they just threw me on the register, and I'm standing there going, what the? Yeah, no training. They had a young woman who was really more interested in, I guess, all the guys working there, to spend a couple of minutes with me, to say you push this button and that button, and then walked off. I was like, whoa, that's training. Yeah. Anyway, my alarm just went off. I don't know if you heard that. And, yeah, I'm distracted by more things than one. More than one thing. But, you know, that kind of job. And then any kind of job, like you work in an office. I've worked in offices. You were actually trained for it. Some things you do, you have to get certification for, or license for, or you have to have a degree. You don't have to have a degree, but you have to have this or that. You have to have this many years of experience doing whatever it is to become at that level. You see? I think there will become more respect for people to stay in their lanes. You know? Not to decide that because here you are, you know, you've experienced, you know, like I've done videos about this, you know, I have a channel I do it about toxic people, narcissistic abuse, and so forth. So for years I've mentioned this to people, saying that because they have experienced narcissistic abuse, therefore that they can be life coaches. What? They don't have to go to school. Then they'll say that they know more than the people who went to school, more than the actual counselors or therapists, you know, who are licensed by the state or whatever governing body that actually had to go through all of that to get it. That they know more than that because they have experienced it. Totally idiotic. Seriously, it is to think that way. You know, and there will be more respect for the actual counselors and actual therapists, actual people who have done the work, and not for these. Isn't the old-fashioned word, charlatan or snake oil salesman? And I'm not saying 100% all across the board, because some of them actually are licensed counselors or therapists, or have the education that they need behind it. They just didn't go for the whatever it is, but they have the actual education, the degrees. Yeah, I could be one. I have the degrees. Okay? But no, these are people who don't. Don't have anything. They just have experience. You think they don't have experience? You think they didn't go into that field for a reason? Come on, get real. The actual scholarly research states, yes, they do. My goodness. It's been like that since I was in school, since I was in graduate school, many years before then, who knows how many years. But yeah, so that kind of line of thought is that's just a manipulator. And do you really want a manipulator? Like I said, it's not 100% across the board. There's always, you know, there are always exceptions to rules, you know, this kind of thing. Anyway, but I do think that there will be more awareness of, ooh, don't go that way with that person. You know, don't let that person, you know, that's kind of narcissistic, you know, when they say they know better than the professionals. Don't go that direction. Ooh, don't let them con you. You know, and that's what it is. It's a big con. Yeah, so anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Adam just got home and I want to go in the house and watch some TV and have dinner. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.